Today we're going to be unboxing a new telescope. It's the Skywatcher StarQuest DX102 Maksutov telescope, and I'll tell you a little bit more about why I bought this as we're opening the telescope up. Up to now I've been using quite a relatively heavy duty EQ5 mount, and that's absolutely fine for my big 8-inch reflector and my 5-inch refractor, but I've often thought I needed a lighter weight mount that's still capable of tracking. And on our offers page at First Light Optics, there was this telescope for £250, and the Maksutov optics themselves are worth about £200. So I'm actually getting the mount for about £50. So I'm jumping at this because it's an affordable, lightweight tracking mount. Although I have had to add a £90 motor drive. So let's get all the boxes out and see what we've got. There's quite a few of them. That's just an empty box to fill out the gaps. That must be the counterweight because that's quite heavy. So in this video I'm basically going to just do a bit of a first look at this, because even though these have been out for a little while, I've not really seen any videos on them. So it'd be good to... where's my scissors gone? It'd be good to have a video out there about this particular telescope. This replaces the StarQuest. This is obviously, now they've added the DX on, which I think is for deluxe, so it's a, well, on paper it should be a slightly fancier version of it. So we get an instruction manual, StarQuest 2 telescope. So you can see there's a few in the range. This is the Maksutov, which is the most sort of powerful zooming in planetary version. Then you've got a classic Newtonian, classic refractor. Quick flick through this just to show you what kind of information you get in the booklet. It seems quite comprehensive. Yeah, there's a lot of information in there. So it's good that they actually give you paper instructions that can sometimes be lacking. And there's a red dot finder installation guide now. I don't know which box contains what, so let's just crack them open and have a look. And this video might just be helpful if anyone's considering a beginner telescope, not sure what you get or how you set a telescope up, because I'll be setting the telescope up in this video, so you'll be able to see from that. So these are slow motion controls, which attach to the mount, control the axis, so you can point the telescope at different objects. This is the mount head, and you set that to your local latitude. I'm at 52 degrees here, so I'd have to set that to 52 degrees. Immediately I can see that the degree marking sticker is not actually properly attached, so I'm just going to pop that down. Now in practice you don't actually use these markings at all, so I'm not really that bothered that the sticker's coming off. It's just more for decoration than anything nowadays. Right, I've got a feeling this one's going to be the optical tube, the Maksutov optics. Let's have a little look. I've not had a Mac on the channel for a long time actually, so really overdue. So getting this with the mount that I wanted is actually quite a bonus, because it would be nice to test it out against my other telescopes, because I like to do a few telescope shootouts on this channel where I compare telescopes for like planetary lunar imaging, for example, occasionally deep sky. That takes a bit more setting up though. Right, oh, I forgot how dinky they are. So this basically takes what would ordinarily be a very long telescope and it folds the optics over. So the light goes in there, bounces off the primary mirror, bounces off the secondary and comes out the back. So you're basically folding a long telescope like that into a compact tube, but it's still got the power of the longer telescope. So these are really good for zooming you in on bright planets, craters on the moons, for splitting double stars, but they're good for compact, bright, deep sky objects like the core of Orion, globular clusters, things like the Ring Nebula. So this is the motor drive that I've opted for as an extra. You don't actually, if you just buy the StarQuest DX telescope, it doesn't come with a motor drive, but you can buy it for an extra £89. It's going to be similar in dollars and euros, isn't it? There's, I think that's your installation guide there. We'll look at that later on, or on another video. We'll see how we get on with this one, as I've only got limited time while my family's out. And this is the living room, so I've taken the opportunity to do the unboxing in the largest space I've got in my house, which is this small rug here. There we go. This will be the tripod. Nice little steel tripod. And that's going to help absorb vibrations a bit better than if it was a lightweight aluminium tripod. But it's not super heavy duty, so there will still be vibrations. It's just slightly better than if it was aluminium. Right, let's open that out. Okay, and there will be a spreader plate that goes on here and twists to lock in place. There we go, that was quite simple. Let's get the legs undone. So you've got these bolts on the inside, wing nuts to extend each leg. Let's get all this fully set up, and then we can just add on the mount head, which is this little doodah here. All that gubbins is. So there's what looks like a 3/8 bolt. Just do that up basically. So I'm just going to point that roughly, there's a marker there, tells us our degrees. So I'm going to point that roughly at 52 degrees. Lock that Tommy bar off. If you're setting up the mount to look at in an area that's got a high latitude, you just undo this Tommy bar and then move that like so. But I'm going to put that back down to around about, let's put that to 52 degrees because that's where I am here. That's about there maybe, and lock that up. Right, so this one, let's undo that so we can put our telescope on. I think the first thing I want to do is pop the slow motion controls on there. There we go. And then we can turn that axis to move around the sky. And then we need the same thing for the right ascension axis. The right ascension axis, this axis, is the axis that actually tracks with the rotation of the Earth, so you can track an object in the sky. So it's arguably the more important one, and it's the one that we attach a motor drive to. Actually, if I put this side, because the motor drive may go on this side then. There we go. Okay. So we can fully move around the sky using a combination of these two slow motion controls. Let's just put that there, so it's in the middle. Next thing to do, there should be a counterweight bar somewhere. It's probably in here. And a counterweight. Here we go, there's the counterweight bar. So we've got the counterweight bar, which screws into here. They do throw in a screwdriver, so you can do all these things. The screwdriver I used a moment ago was just one I found in the drawer, but they do include a screwdriver so you can set everything up. Now, where was that counterweight? Here it is, it's in this box, isn't it? Let's get that aboard and then we're all set then. Put it at the top to begin with until I've got the telescope aboard. And this thing is just a safety nut, so if that counterweight just came undone, without this it could just slide off and land on your foot and break your foot. Example, if that came undone, that would come off, slam on your foot, so good idea to have this little safety catch on there, which is just a nut and a washer, just to stop it sliding all the way off. Cool. Right, what accessories have we got then? We've got a red dot finder, and that's a zero magnification device, which basically gives you a wider field of view so you can find objects before you look through the main telescope. It's just a finding aid. You'll have a battery in there to begin with, and to activate the battery you just pull this tab and then you're ready to go. That should now have a red dot. Yep, I can see a red dot in there. That's all working. That's a good start. And it's got some adjustments, so you can adjust it there or there to move it up, down, left and right to align it to your main telescope. So we'll do that in a moment. This looks to be a basic smartphone adapter to enable you to do some smartphone photography of the moon and the planet. So that's really nice that they include that. They usually throw in a couple of basic eyepieces with, well, they usually either, telescopes, when you buy a beginner telescope, they either throw in one decent colossal eyepiece or two very basic eyepieces. This looks like these are two very basic eyepieces, so they won't be the best optical quality, but they'll be okay to get you started with. You've got 65 magnification for a wider field of view. It's going to be a deep sky object lens, and then if you want to look close up at planets or have a closer look at craters on the moon, you pop your 10mm in, which is going to give you 130 times magnification. But I can already tell these aren't going to be amazing quality, so to get the most out of the telescope I'd recommend upgrading the eyepieces sooner or later. Finally, by the looks of it, you've got a star diagonal, and basically all this does is it puts the eyepiece in a more comfortable position, so you can see, so you're not craning your neck. So you're looking down with this in the back of the telescope, you can look down into the eyepiece comfortably rather than sort of like craning your neck to look up into the telescope. And you'll see what I mean once we've got all this set up. So let me pop this little cute Maksutov, 4-inch Maksutov aboard. Right, so this is a Vixen clamp, this is a small Vixen dovetail. The idea is you just clamp that onto the dovetail, like that. Now, if I undo this completely, we might be able to balance this a bit better. There is some stiction on this mount, so it's not particularly good for fine balancing, but I don't think that's particularly needed. Just give this a rough balance. If I put it all the way there, yeah, you can't really find balance with this mount because there's too much stiction, so we're just gonna have to kind of guess where to put the counterweight. Yeah, probably there's fine. Now the next thing to do is pop your red dot finder on. There's a mini Vixen finder shoe there. This just simply slides on and you clamp it in place with that bolt. And then during the daytime, making sure not to point this anywhere near the sun, point your main telescope towards like a TV aerial or some kind of defined object, and then you can make adjustments to this until your red dot's pointing at the same thing as you're looking through the main telescope. And then when it comes to night time, you're all set. You can use the red dot finder to find your object and then view it through the main telescope. And to view it through the main telescope, we'll pop our star diagonal in to make that more comfortable. That's simply, let's make sure that's done up tighter. Come on, make sure that's wound all the way in. There we go, that's done up tight now. We're good to go. It's important to point out that there's, just knocking my camcorder off there. Might just stop that recording. It's important to note there's also a T-thread on the back, so you could put like a DSLR on the back via a T-ring, but I'm going to set this up visually with a star diagonal, this basic mirror star diagonal. And this thing is the focuser, so it's this little wheel on the back. So let's pop the low power eyepiece in there, the 20mm, giving it 60 5 times magnification, and then we're just set up for testing basically, aren't we? When you take this outside at night, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you want to set this latitude to your local latitude, and then you simply point this leg facing north towards the pole star Polaris, because we've got this convenient star that just happens to be pretty much in line with the axis of rotation of the Earth. So you want to point this axis towards that star, and then when you make adjustments here, you can track with the Earth's rotation and how the stars move across the sky. So you've got your slow motion controls, but if you want to move quickly, it's got coarse movements. So you can just coarsely move, change your amount of stiction by doing that up. So next, we could have a look at putting that motor drive on. This is very different to the motor drive that you got with the original StarQuest, which I'm pleased about because I wasn't a big fan of that one. This is more like this is very much like the motor drive you get with the larger EQ3, EQ5 telescopes. Battery pack, these usually take D cells. So you usually have to put 4 D cells in here, which I don't actually have. Okie dokie. Right. That goes on the spindle, tightens up. What is next? Okay, this has got something to do with it as well. Okay, like that, and then one of these goes on, so that can go on there like that. Okay, and then this washer goes on there, and then we screw the bar in at the bottom. But yeah, I'll get some D-cell batteries and we'll test out the motor drive when we're next outside under clear skies. Also, just to show you how the included phone adapter works, you basically just clamp your phone into this. That bit, it stops there and then twists out, and then you just put it in there like that, do it up, and then just move this bracket until your lens is lined up with the hole, and then this clamp just goes on the top of the eyepiece like that, and then you just make fine adjustments until it all lines up and adjust your focuser to reach focus. Pretty straightforward really, but that looks like it's going to work just fine. We'll play with that. Let's leave it there. Big thank you to my channel members and Patreons. Hit like and subscribe if you like the channel, and until next time, remember, tell those clouds to sod off.